what troubles me is that people don't really think about what it is that they do. They just sort of do it. And they don't think about why they're doing what it is that they're doing. They were taught a certain way, or it instinctively or intuitively comes to them to do something. And so they have no way of really understanding, if they've been successful, why, and how they could reproduce that in some way or another in a different situation. Nor do they understand, if they've run into trouble, how their inability to know what was going on or to use the right skills at the right time has contributed to us. It's too easy to say, well, the clients were resistant. They really weren't ready for mediation, or whatever other excuse somebody might give.
So it's largely formulaic. Kind of do it by the numbers. Here's what I've always done. I do what I'm familiar with.
Well, look how many people have been taught a stage approach. I had an interesting experience in teaching once in Canada. I was teaching a course to a group of mediators who were considered to be reasonably advanced practitioners. What that meant was that they had completed a series of courses at a program called the Justice Institute of British Columbia. That was about 240 hours of training. They'd gone through an assessment process, and they had had at least 10 mediations subsequent. That was the criteria for getting into the class. There were some with far more experience than that. And at one point or another, somebody said, well, are you talking about moving from stage 2 to stage 3 in the process? I said, what are you talking about? I said, well, we were all trained and we were assessed on whether we could move the parties from stage 1 to stage 2 to stage 3 to stage 4. And we were told that each stage needed to precede the one that followed. It had to be done in sequence, that there were important reasons why the sequence existed, etc., etc.
And give me a brief notion of those stages.
Well, I don't remember them in any detail, but it's fairly typical of, regardless of whether you're looking at a 3-stage, 5-stage, 10-stage introduction, engaging the parties in talking about their dispute, storytelling, identifying what the issues are in the dispute and clarifying those issues, engaging in a variety of activities that could be sort of collectively called problem solving, that might include brainstorming, dealing with impasses in finding solutions, etc., and then sort of wrapping up, coming up with an agreement and putting it down on paper and ending the mediation.
So that's basic classic form.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. There was nothing. The numbers of stages and so on might have been different from.
But the structure is.
It's largely the same. And I said to them, okay, let me ask you, has any of you ever done a mediation where you went exactly from stage 1 to stage 2, etc., all the way through to the end? And there were 25 people in the group, and everyone said, no, you can't do it that way, but we were told we have to. And I said, well, you don't have to. Ever again. If that's where things go, because that's where the interaction between you and the parties take you, good. But if it doesn't, your awareness of all of the various tasks that might need to be done is critical. Putting them in a particular order is not important, unless it's important to them. And there was a collective sigh of relief.